All right, scholars, today we are still learning about character traits, but in this lesson, we are going to be reading a short passage where we have to figure out what the character trait is, but also link it to our passage, which means saying this is the character trait and I know this is the character trait because. And so we would be going back to our story and underlining a specific sentence or answering with a sentence to explain how we know the character trait is, whatever it is, okay? So Miss Esther is going to practice one with you, and then you are going to be doing one on your own. So the first thing we need to do is read our passage. So our character's name is Jamie. So let's listen as Miss Esther reads. Jamie had not finished her homework yet. She was on her way to social studies class and was fearful that she would get an F for the assignment. At the last minute, Jamie started crying and lied about feeling sick. She sat in the nurse's office until lunchtime. Okay, so we have a character who has forgotten to do her homework. She's afraid she's going to get in trouble. She decides to lie, saying that she doesn't feel well, and she ends up going to the nurse's office. So, what is one action the character did? And what motivated him or her to do this? So there's a couple answers here. So I'm going to get my highlighter right here, and we're going to highlight a couple of things. So let's just start right here. Why she started crying and she lied. Okay, that's something that she did. That's what it says, what is one action the character did? So now let's talk about why do we think she did that? What was her motivation? Okay, well in here it tells me that she didn't finish her homework and she knew she was going to get in trouble. So her motivation was Jamie started to cry and lied about not feeling well because she did not do her assignment and she thought she would get in trouble. Okay, so again, my question was, what is one action the character did and what motivated him? So one action was she started crying and she lied about it. Well, why did she do that? Jamie started to cry and lied about not feeling well because she did not have her assignment and she thought she would get in trouble. Okay? All right, so now let's go to the next slide. Again, same story, except this time we're going to say, how does the character feel in the story? So there are a couple of things that I could underline here. She felt fearful. Okay, and the reason she felt fearful was that she was going to get in trouble. So let's type that in our little box right here. I'm just going to say Jamie felt fearful because she thought she would get in trouble. Okay, so how does the character feel? She thought she was fearful because she thought she would get in trouble. All right, now here comes the hard part. How would we identify her character trait? How would you describe her? Next says explain with evidence from the text. So let's just think about that for a second. How would you describe her character trait? All right, so Miss Esther is going to come right here and highlight a couple of things that stand out to me. Okay, so just simply she didn't finish her homework. She started crying and lied. Okay. And then that led her to sitting in the nurse's office. That way she didn't have to go to social studies. So my character trait that I'm going to pick for her, and we might all pick different ones, I'm going to simply say that Jamie was dishonest. And then I'm going to explain that. She was dishonest because she lied about not feeling well, so that she did not have to go to class. Okay, so in a second, you're going to go to the next slide in this PowerPoint, or in the Nearpod, and you're going to be reading a quick story about Daniel, and you're going to be asking those same questions. So let's just review those real quick. What is one action that the character did? Okay, so thinking about what did he do in the story, and you're going to have to underline a sentence just like we did here. The next question is, how does he feel? And would you be able to explain that in your own words? And then the last one is being able to identify the character trait based on the evidence in the passage and being able to underline that sentence that helps us justify our answer. Okay? All right. So head on over to the next slide so that you can show Miss Esther that you know what to do with identifying evidence that supports our character traits.